Welcome to the Trainer Talk, where we discuss topics related to health and fitness to help you gain back control of your health and fitness and become the absolute best version of yourself physically and mentally. Enjoy. All right, we are live for the Trainer Talk. Today we're going to be talking about, are your actions or do your actions reflect your goals? So we made a post yesterday, and I think it was very eye-opening for a lot of people, and even myself as I read it. It's basically like, do your actions reflect your goals? So a lot of us have the goals, maybe they want to drop body fat, increase their energy, gain confidence, build lean muscle, build strength, become a better athlete, whatever your goal is. But if you broke down your day, if somebody followed you around, would they be able to tell what your goals are? Do those goals or do your actions reflect those goals that you have? And I think a lot of people need to kind of audit their day and take a look at their daily actions and ask themselves, do these actions actually reflect the goals that I have? Or are they maybe leading me down the wrong direction? And that a lot of times is why we're unable to achieve those goals, is just because we don't realize that those daily actions just don't align with the goals that we have. So what we want to do today is kind of break that down, and we'll talk a little bit about our goals and how we're trying to implement our daily actions to align with those goals. But just to get your brain kind of thinking about it, some of those actions or some of the questions that you can ask yourself are like, what's the first thing that you do when you wake up? What does your morning routine look like? What do your working hours look like? What happens when you go home after work? What is your nighttime routine? So, are you drinking water? What does your nutrition look like? Do you exercise? Do you prioritize sleep? All those kind of habits and actions we want to try to take into account and figure out, okay, are most of these moving me toward the goal that I have, or are they actually leading me in a different direction? So whoever wants to kick it off, if we want to start right with our own, or if you want to add anything else onto that, we'll just kind of wing it.
I will go first. So my current goals are, one is to make CrossFit quarterfinals, which, unless something goes horribly wrong tomorrow, should happen. And the biggest things that I've been focusing on with that is obviously the consistent training 5 days a week, for CrossFit specific, and then adding in just like movement the other days. Now with doing 75 hard, it's like 2 different workouts a day. I added in a little bit of mobility on my Thursdays just to get extra recovery for my body. And then obviously the nutrition, like timing it around the workouts, making it better quality nutrition. So like before, even though like macros and calories and protein, like those were all okay, the actual quality of the food wasn't to the level that it is now. So that was one thing, like a big focus for that. And then like a secondary goal is improving body composition, which has been working with the nutrition, the training changes, just getting extra steps within the day, just like finding, more time to walk and, fitting little things in here and there. And then making sure that I get 7 hours of sleep, of actual sleep, not just like, in bed. Right. Yeah. So it's 7 hours of actual sleep. I'm in bed for about 8 hours. And then that way I have energy for work and productivity, and then also for the training, recovery, the body composition, all of that. And then also just like taking a look at my environment too. If you were to look at what's in my pantry, what's in my fridge, I have audited that pretty recently too. And I just don't keep anything that I would be tempted to like easily overeat, like any foods that would be like really tempting or anything like that. I keep all my like meal prepped meals all like right within view. I always keep that stocked. Like it's funny looking at my side of the fridge and then my roommate's side of the fridge, just because she has like very little food, and I'm like, what do you eat all day? But I also eat 5 meals a day, and so it's just kind of funny to see the compare and contrast of like I have so much food all the time, and then I'm like, where's your food? I'm like, there's like a couple of meals in here. I was like, don't you run out after a day? So I find that funny. And then like just kind of auditing like training too, making sure focusing on the right things, like the weaknesses, a lot more gymnastics focused, and while still doing like the strength training and the metcons and things like that, but a bigger emphasis on gymnastics specifically, just because that's always been a weakness in the open, and I'm tired of it being a weakness. So putting a lot more effort into that in my workouts.
So my goals are probably similar to a lot of people who may be listening to this. I mean, I am just trying to gain strength back after having a baby and still lose a little bit of body fat, which I feel like that's probably a lot of people's goals, is to gain strength and lose fat. So things I am doing to work towards that is making sure that I'm getting all of my workouts in, so 5 or 6 workouts a week. I try to drink a gallon of water a day. That just helps. I mean, that helps everything, but it also can help, like, because another one of my goals is less mindless snacking. And I think a lot of times we think we might be hungry, but really we just need some water. So making sure you're getting that water in first before you're eating or snacking too much. Making sure I have veggies with at least lunch and dinner, because that was something that I kind of struggled with when I was like postpartum, was being a little lazy with making vegetables. And that kind of also goes along with prepping lunches. That was something that I wasn't doing well with. So making sure that I had my lunches prepped either on Sunday or Monday for the entire week. And then, like Bethany said, I am trying to get more steps in throughout the day, because I kind of like forgot about this, but I had heard like this kind of, I think I read a post or something about how, even if you work out for an hour, 2 hours every single day, but you sit the rest of the day, you still technically live a sedentary lifestyle. Yeah. And that's just kind of like eye-opening, I think, for a lot of people, because a lot of people have desk jobs and are sitting a lot and wonder why they're not losing weight, even though they're going to the gym, they're eating healthy. And it's just because we're not getting up and moving enough throughout the day. We're still sitting so much. So those are just kind of my goals. And then also getting better at gymnastics and stuff like that, which just requires doing it, like just practicing it as much as I can each week or each day. So,
awesome.
Yeah.
For me, first goal is kind of just maintaining a healthy body composition, staying active, maintaining my strength. And I don't really have too many strength gain or body composition change goals. I'm pretty good with where I'm at. So, I mean, that's just working out 4 to 5 days a week. That comes down to the fridge, like you said too, with my food choices. We were talking about earlier, not eating out too much. Also sustainability. So I don't do any like the crazy diets, or I'm not trying to be a crazy CrossFit Games athlete or anything. I'm just working out to have fun. And that was another one. One of my goals is having fun, like in my workouts outside of the gym. I'm not taking myself too seriously. Like after the first workout of the Open, I was pretty bummed out. We'd probably tell after. And because I didn't do as good as I wanted to. And I realized, well, like, this is my first year. I've been doing it for like probably 8 months, CrossFit for 8 months. I need to change my perspective on it a little bit and have a little bit more fun with it than take it so seriously. Because it's not the end all be all, and it's not the purpose of my life, basically. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
And that comes with the sustainability too, like giving yourself some slack in your workouts and your diet. Then just overall being healthy. So like sleep is a big thing for me, obviously, getting between 6 and 8 hours of sleep a night. Social life, I think that's really good. That's made a difference, like outside of the gym, for my mental health, and like spending time with family and friends, and the winter depression is kind of going away with the sun coming back out. So that feels good. But yeah,
Cool.
That's pretty much it.
Yeah. So for me, I guess like kind of on a personal side, I've always been about like maximizing my energy and performance, both as like an owner, so that I can show up as a coach and a mentor,
run the business the best of my ability, and also to perform as an athlete in CrossFit or whatever we're doing. So when it comes to maximizing my energy and performance, the actions that I have to take are going to be, I need to make sure that I'm training. 5 days a week is typically what we're hitting, with maybe an active recovery day in there as well. We're training basically full body, doing CrossFit workouts, so strength training, Olympic lifting, the gymnastics, the metcons, so the conditioning, and then really focusing on recovery and nutrition as well to go with that. So some of those actions is going to be, it's kind of funny because if you walk in before we're working out, I mean, you'll see us warm up and do mobility work for 25 minutes before our workout even begins. Whereas some people's workouts take 25 minutes. But for the amount of stuff that we do, we have to spend a lot of time warming up and doing mobility. And that's just kind of the cost of, trying to be like a competitive athlete. So those are the extra actions that we have to take, is we have to spend a lot more time on our mobility and flexibility, recovery, stretching, stuff like that, compared to a lot of other people. The sleep, I mean, I basically have a bedtime. I think it's actually better to have a bedtime than just a wake time. Mm-hmm. So I try to be in bed, around 8 to 8:30 and be asleep, somewhere around that 8:30, 9 o'clock every single night. Kind of like what Bethany said, to try to get about 7 hours of sleep if I can, or as good a sleep as possible. So I've talked about this a lot, setting up my environment for the best possible sleep. So it's completely pitch black. We've got room darkening curtains. We have the fan on. It's set to a cool temperature in the house at night. So those are all things that are going to help. I have a 8 sleep mattress cover, so it controls the temperature. That's a big thing too, especially in the winter and in the summer, to help with your sleep. And I think if you get great sleep and you have way better energy and you're more productive, it's worth that investment. Mm-hmm. So the nutrition, kind of like what she had touched on too, it's like just keeping all the junk food out of the house for the most part, just trying to have, as healthy options as I can that's still convenient. And I try to be quick with it, but try to make it as healthy, kind of a balance between the two. So it could be better, but I also don't want to invest an hour and a half each day prepping meals. So I usually go for like the quicker routes. Like I have Icon meals delivered. It's good food, pre-made. I measure everything out online, have it shipped. That's my lunch. It does cost a little bit more, but it saves me some time. So that's just kind of one thing that works really well for me. My breakfast, I have down to a science. It takes 7 minutes to make 2 egg and turkey sausage meals with spinach. So I do plan and prepare that way. It's like, if you're going to make a healthy meal, you might as well make a little bit extra, prep it, like you said, like have those meals prepped in the fridge ready to go. So after hearing kind of all of our goals, we kind of touched on actions that we take every single day to achieve those goals. And the real question that we want you guys to kind of ask is like, if somebody, or if we followed you around for an entire day, would we know what your goals are based off those actions? Ask yourself, like, if somebody followed me around for an entire day and we didn't talk a single word, what kind of lifestyle or person would they think I am as far as a healthy person or an unhealthy person? Mm-hmm. Am I somebody who exercises and cares about my health, or am I somebody that doesn't necessarily exercise or care about my health? So that's something that we want to try to get you guys to kind of open your eyes to and start auditing your day, writing down kind of all the actions that you do in a day. What kind of food do you eat? Do you eat breakfast? Do you eat lunch? What kind of foods are you getting? Do you make time for exercise? Do you stay up late every night? Do you watch TV for 1 hour, 2 hours, 3 hours before bed? Do you snooze multiple times in the morning? Do you have a morning routine, a bedtime routine? Do you drink enough water? All these kinds of different things we want to ask ourselves, because at the end of the day, if you want to drop body fat and gain strength, you have to look at what actions do I need to take every day to achieve that goal. Am I doing them? And you have to change your identity to, I need to identify myself as a fit, healthy person if I want to be a fit and healthy person. So a fit and healthy person does X, Y, and Z every day. I need to start doing those things. If I'm not doing those things, I am therefore not a healthy and fit person. So that's kind of what we want to try to open people up to. Maybe we could talk about just kind of best practices or some different examples of how we could help the audience. One, audit their day, and then maybe some of the simplest things that they can swap out or start to implement.
Yeah, and like keeping it simple, I think is a big thing. That quick and simple is like really good, especially like for workouts. Like make them quick and effective, but have maybe a little bit more frequent. Like try to have some sort of a routine of like, okay, I'm going to get some sort of activity every day, whether it's a 10-minute walk or I'm in the gym doing my resistance training for 45 minutes or an hour. Like having that consistency is really huge. So like being very consistent with your habits, making that time for the activity every day. And like kind of like you said, with the movement, like having that daily movement, getting in little walks here and there, like a 5-minute walk is better than no walk at all. And then as far as meals go, like I'm also like that too. I don't want to spend a bunch of time meal prepping. So I batch cook a bunch of chicken in a slow cooker. So all I got to do is throw my chicken in there, throw whatever seasonings I want to do, and then let it sit, shred it up, and then I, pack it away for the week. And then doing like microwavable rice packets or like get a rice cooker. I make up a bunch, like a big salad, and I have like a fresh keeper container, keeps it fresh for 4 days. Like put like a bunch of lettuce and carrots, peppers, chop those all up so that all I got to do to have my healthy salad instead of making one every day is just take a handful and then use that. Super fast breakfast that takes 5 minutes, like just microwaving.
Super shakes.
Yeah, super shakes is a good one. It's like the egg beaters, which is basically just egg whites, but it has like they added in different like vitamins and minerals that are in a typical egg, and it tastes more like a whole egg, but it doesn't look like a bunch of garbage in it. So I do that with the frozen like shredded potatoes, and I just microwave that. Put my turkey sausage in there, some salsa. It takes me 5 minutes to make, and then I've got like a really good breakfast bowl. And then air fry potatoes. That's also a super simple thing that I did the other week. And then frozen vegetables. So like I can take whatever meat that I have prepped, whether it's beef or chicken or whatever type, and then throw that in a bowl with whatever measurement. And then my potatoes, however many potatoes I want, microwave my vegetables, I'm good to go. So keeping that really simple, easy, accessible, keeping your workout simple and effective, like that's just going to be, the food's boring sometimes, but it shouldn't be the most exciting meal of your life every time you eat. So like when you're trying to have those goals, it's like find something that obviously you don't mind eating, but it's not going to be something that you're going to want to like overeat. Like you shouldn't be overly excited to eat. Because I see a lot of, especially on like YouTube or Instagram, like these people have these like really good macro-friendly high protein meals, but it takes 20 different ingredients to make them. It's just too many steps, and I'm like, if it's more than a few ingredients, I'm like, skip. I'm like, that's a lot of work. I see them mixing a bunch of stuff, and then they gotta chill it, and I'm like, nope, that's too much. So like saving the time, save the energy, do what's effective, and do it consistently.
I think it's also important just to point out, like you said, simple and effective workouts, and I couldn't agree more. For many people watching, and most of our clients, our average person is, the busy mom and dad that doesn't have a ton of time, so they're not going to be doing workouts like us where it takes an hour and a half, 2 hours, where they're spending 30 minutes warming up and doing strength and gymnastics and a Metcon and stretching and all that stuff. Like, I don't plan on doing that for the rest of my life to this intensity. Like, there's going to be a point where I'm going to want to try to get it done in less than an hour, and I'm going to be okay with that. So, don't think that, like, I feel like I just don't want people to think that they've got to do all this volume of training like what we're doing to
Yeah.
get the results that they're looking
Mhm.
for.
Yeah.
We're just doing that because we're specifically training for like CrossFit competitions, the Open, things like that. But I don't, I can foresee as I get into my 30s, 40s, probably closer to like 40s and 50s, that I probably won't do that much volume with CrossFit. It's going to be more of a strength and conditioning, probably less gymnastics, try to just stay healthy as long as possible, stay fit, but try to avoid injury and stuff like that as much as possible too. So it's going to be shortening the volume of training to make it efficient and also effective though.
Mhm.
too.
Efficient and effective.
Yeah, so I was gonna say, like, if you have your goal, like whatever your goal is, if it's to lose weight, because that's a very common goal, just pick like 1 to 3 things, actions to focus on, which is
Yep.
what like the coaching that we do here focuses on. Is because I think a lot of times, like, I mean, we listed off everything that we do to reach our goals,
Yeah.
but I bet none of us started with
Yeah.
doing every single one of these every single day. We
That's-
all started with maybe just working out.
Yeah.
2 days a week, 3 days a week. And then we added in a few more days. And then we were like, my nutrition isn't great. So
Yeah.
maybe I'll
Get more protein.
get more protein in, yeah.
That's always a big
Or
one.
maybe I will drink some more water, and then maybe I'll focus on sleep. And then I'll focus on less snacking. And then I'll focus on getting my steps in. Like, these are things that we have personally worked on for the last however many years that we've been into health and fitness. It's not something that we've done overnight, and we've all gotten different ideas from each other too on how we can better focus on our health and fitness. So that's what I would say is, don't feel overwhelmed by all of the things that we do, and know that it's taken us years to get all these things somewhat, not even perfect, but better. So just focus on like one thing at a time. And then another thing that I was going to say is, another goal a lot of people have is gaining confidence. And as much as, yes, losing weight and losing body fat can give you confidence, I think that a lot of confidence comes from just like working on your mind and your mindset and your mental health. So what are you doing to better that? What are you doing to work on that? And that can be working out, because I do think working out can help your mental health. It can just be writing out what you're grateful for every day. It can be reading a certain book. It can be journaling. Maybe you need to go talk to a therapist. Like, there's so many things that you can do to work on your mental health. And I think like working out and eating healthy and doing like a gratitude journal, all of those combined, even if you're not losing a bunch of weight right away, is still going to give you more confidence and just feel better and have more clarity overall.
Yep.
So
You gain confidence through experience
Yeah.
and what you learn.
yeah.
So, like, if you think about having to take a test and you know nothing about anything on the test, you're going to freak out and
Yeah.
you're going to be super unconfident that
Yeah.
you're going to pass it, right? But if you took the time to study everything
Mhm.
and you did all the work, you're going to be super confident. Oh, I'm going
Right.
to pass this test.
Right.
So it's like, if you want to be more confident, feel more confident, you need to do more of the things that are going to make you feel that way,
Mhm.
like exercising and eating out. Like, you'll gain confidence by just performing the actions.
Yeah.
And that's why people, when they come in here and work out, and as soon as they're done, they actually feel more confident
Yeah.
just from completing a workout or an exercise.
Mhm.
So, the more you can learn and know about health and fitness, the more confident you're going to
Mhm.
feel too, or about anything in life for that
Yeah.
matter.
I think we try to avoid those situations a lot now, where instead we kind of need to be seeking them out a little bit more, getting outside of our comfort zone and trying the new classes or
Yeah.
whatever it may be. And even if it has nothing to do with the gym, maybe it's more, going back to school and learning a new skill, or taking courses to get better at your job, like our nutrition course, and taking that test. Like, I feel like once we go through that once, and get in a comfortable spot, it's kind of like where, for example, where I'm at now, I'm pretty comfortable right now with the amount of clients I have. I don't want to like have to go through more courses and learning, but that's almost what I need to be seeking out, to be constantly learning and building confidence and keeping my skills sharp. You know what I mean?
Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah. I want to give another example though of kind of what you were talking about, doing one thing at a time and not
I'm going to touch on that too.
overloading. But for me, an example is when I started working out, I didn't warm up, I didn't cool down, I didn't do any like stretching or preventative exercises, and you guys were all doing that when you started. So, and that the first part for me, because I knew I should start doing that, especially with CrossFit and exercising as much as I do. The first part with me was just doing a general warm up, just like doing all the classes and everything now, and now it needs to be even more. So I've been having some problems with my shoulder. You have too a little bit, but this has been going on for at least 2 years, and I've kind of just put it on the back burner because it's not an emergency. Like I can live with it, but one of my goals has been to prevent more or try to make it feel better at least as much as I can. And so one thing I've been adding in is GOWOD protocol, which is just like stretching or pliability protocol. And that's one thing that I've added in to work towards my goals. And for a while, it was a goal that, both of our goals kind of, that we weren't really working towards very much. It was a goal, but we weren't very good at being consistent with our prehab or stretching. So like that's just an example of a goal that we had that was not a priority to us, even though we said it should be. It just wasn't. So that's something that I'm working towards personally is being aware of, okay, maybe it's not an emergency right now, but it could be 5-10 years down the road. So I need to start making it a priority.
Yeah. Yep. To second the whole focusing on one thing, I'm reading a really, really good book called The One Thing. And it's basically like, what's the one thing that you could do right now to make everything else basically unnecessary that's going to lead you to your goals? So pick one thing that's going to help you the most right now and focus on that until it becomes a habit. And it, on average, takes about 66 days for something to become an actual habit in your lifestyle. So if you could focus on the one thing with your nutrition or the one thing with your exercise that's going to help you get toward your goals, and just try to bring up and instill as much discipline as you can get to doing it for about 2 months, and then it becomes a habit, then you can add in the next one thing. Kind of like what you said, like just start with working out. You know, when I started, it was just working out. And then I was like, I know protein's important. And even though I was eating pizza rolls and Hot Pockets, I was tracking my protein. That was like the one thing. And then I was like, oh, wow, that's all not good for me. Maybe I should start focusing on more healthy foods. So then I progressively improved from there. But you've got to start with like that one thing that's going to help move you in the right direction. So maybe that's looking at, what's one thing that's the simplest thing that I can do that's going to give me a really good return on the investment that I have to put in. So maybe that is a 10-minute daily walk every single day. Doesn't take that much time, has a huge payoff. So maybe that's one thing. Maybe the one thing is your nutrition. Maybe you're going to start making your own meals instead of going out for lunch and dinners. That's the one thing I'm going to focus on for 2 months. The other thing that I do want to point out too with that is a lot of people are, well, one, they're unconfident that they can do it because they haven't done it yet.
Yeah.
But two, they think that it relies all on motivation. And a lot of people say, I'm not a disciplined person. Like, you guys are disciplined people more than me. When actually discipline's it's kind of like a lie. You only have to muster up enough discipline until it becomes a habit.
Yeah.
Because we're not more disciplined than anybody else. It's just a part of our life now. We don't need to muster up all this discipline to work out every day. It's part of our life, right? It's just part of our life to eat healthy too. It takes us no more energy than anybody else to live their daily life because it's a habit. So discipline's just this little thing that you need until it becomes a habit. And it only takes on average 66 days. So if you can just, don't worry about motivation. You're not going to be motivated. Maybe for like a week.
Yeah.
And then it's going to wear off. Just say, I just need to stay disciplined for about 2 months, and then this thing's going to be a habit for me, and then you can move on to the next thing.
Mhm.
So that was a super, super eye-opening thing for me. And what I'm really excited to help our clients start implementing is, what's that one thing that we can focus on for the next 66 days, and just put all your energy and focus into that one thing and stay consistent. And it's going to become a habit, and then we can adopt the next new thing.
Mhm.
You know, and that's kind of like what you had said with our programs. Like, we only choose one nutrition thing to focus on. You know, we only want you working out 3 days a week.
Mhm.
And then on the other days, it's going for a walk. It's nothing too crazy. And then we maybe have one other habit that we're focusing on for 6 to 9 weeks.
Mhm.
There's really only like 3 things that we want you to try to do as far as implementing new healthy habits.
Mhm.
And that's with us holding you accountable every
Yeah.
single step of the way. So that's with somebody checking in with you every single week, making sure that you're succeeding with it, helping you overcome the obstacles and celebrating the wins and whatnot. So if you're on your own, choose one thing and try to stick with that and see how much big of a difference it makes after a couple months, and then implement the next thing.
Mhm.
Yeah, it's like finding those biggest needle movers is like basically the turning point of that is like finding what's going to give you those most results for, you know, the lowest hanging fruit, like, you know, that first choice, which I would say for most people is probably nutrition, like improving their nutrition.
Environment, nutrition.
The environment is huge, and like on the discipline and motivation side, like coming back to like, we aren't super crazy disciplined people. We don't have to like will ourselves to do that every day. Like, we just don't keep those foods around in the house, because if they were there, I would 100% eat them.
Yeah, I'm the
Because-
worst out of my whole family, because
Yeah.
when it is there, I'm devouring
Oh
it.
yeah,
But because everybody else is like, I don't want to overdo it, you know. But I'm like, I don't care. I only do this a couple days a year, so
yeah. It's like, I'm gonna go and go all out. But yeah, like if it's in the house, everybody's a little bit different with that. Some people can have it in their house, but just, you know, somewhere hard to reach. Some people can't. Like, I couldn't have it in my house at all. Like, I will go and find that if it's in a cupboard. I don't care. I will crawl on top of that cupboard and I will go get it if I know it's there. Like, if it's, you know,
Yeah.
peanut M&Ms or something, man, I am climbing up that chair to get that reward. And it's just interesting learning so much about like the brains, because everybody is a little bit different with that. And so what might work really well for one person might not for the other. So, you know, maybe it's for someone it is like having those meals prepped out, or maybe it is just getting the meals delivered. Like, maybe that's just going to be easier for you, because then it's like, okay, I've already bought my meals. Like, that's why I think the Optavia and certain companies like that are very successful in the short term with like, and then sometimes for some people it works long term, because they do end up developing the correct habits of, you know, minding their meal portions and things like that. But that kind of takes out the like discipline part of, oh, I have to restrict myself so much. It's just, these are my meals, I'm going to eat these, and then get results that way. And so keeping it very simple, very black and white. And then if something's not working, it's just like, okay, just find what it is and like become like a detective of your own lifestyle and find out what's the one thing that I can change here. Like, is it the foods I keep in my house? Is it, okay, I need to get more activity because, oh, I got a step tracker and I'm only moving 2,000 steps a day. It's probably not great to support the habit of losing weight and feeling healthier.
Mhm.
yeah. So basically, what I would do is I would write down kind of everything that you do in a day, like all the actions that you take, the meals that you eat, what do you drink, you know, how many hours do you sleep, when do you go to bed, when you wake up, all those types of things, and look at it and be like, okay, what's probably the number one thing that I could focus my attention on that's going to help me toward my goals? Or like, what's the worst thing on here that I need to address? You know, because here's the thing is, people are like, oh, you know, I'm not getting the results I'm looking for. I'm working out 3 days a week. Maybe I'll do 5. But then they're eating fast food for lunch and dinner every day. So it's like, okay, that's not the most important driver and mover. Adding 2 more workouts is great, but it's not going to offset the, you know, 14 bad meals that you're eating every single week that are fast food. So audit your day, look at those actions, ask yourself, okay, what do I need to work on? What's that one thing that I need to improve? And do that, and then cross it off once it becomes a habit. move on to the next thing, and start trying to ask yourself, like, if I want to achieve these goals, be a fit and healthy person, what would a fit and healthy person do every day? What actions do they take? So maybe you've got a list of your actions and a list of a healthy and fit person's actions. And what do you need to do to kind of move toward that lifestyle? Try to adopt those habits. So that would be like my homework for everybody. You guys have any other tips or advice on that? Anything to add? Cool. So hopefully this is valuable. We just really want to get you kind of from a different perspective, thinking about, we all set these goals, but we don't take into account our daily actions. Are they moving us toward it or away from it? So hopefully this helps you guys. If you have any questions or need any help at all, feel free to reach out. Other than that, until next time, stay healthy.
Thanks again for tuning in to the Trainer Talk. If you are ready to gain back control of your health and fitness, we would love to sit down and chat with you to see if we can put together a plan for you. All you have to do is head to TaylorHutchinsonFitness.net and book a free consult. Again, make sure you like and subscribe if you like the video, and hopefully we'll see you soon.